So, hello everybody. Hello, welcome to another episode of the Greatness Engineering Hour show. A show where I bring you inspiration. I bring you people with an incredible stories of triumph, story who are gonna inspire you. And today it's gonna be the same. I'm bringing you a champion. I'm bringing you an inspirational woman. She is based in the US, and she has, I know you're gonna like the story and you're gonna learn a lot from her. So make sure you have your pen, your paper, because it's gonna be interesting. So my guest today is LaChelle Adkins. She's a mother of 15. Yes, it's not an error, it's 15 children. And we're gonna try to learn about how she's been able to manage her household with 15 children, herself and a husband. So that's gonna be the story of today, and also know how she navigated, what have been the challenges, and also the opportunities in a way. For her to become the person that she is today, which is, obviously the best version of herself. So she's gonna focus on let really telling us, a story, and from building on our story, let us know how we can become the best version of ourselves, especially for us, mom, or for us, who are taking care of children, or anybody that's very young. So let's start. I want to bring LaChelle with us. And please, let us know where you're watching from. And don't forget to share, because those stories are inspiration for all of us. So don't keep it for yourself. Share the knowledge and make sure you also, empower somebody in the process. So don't go anywhere. LaChelle is coming, and we're going to hear about her. And stay tuned.
Is it all right? Okay, okay. Let's get started right into it. And that is the power of labels, right?
On memories, but as I got older, I started to be more aware of some of the abusive sides of.
So good morning, LaChelle. Good morning, America Supermom. Welcome to the Greatness Engineering Hour show. We are so happy to have you and to really understand a little bit, more how you came up to become this America Supermom. So before we get to that point, can you let us know who you are and what are the key points in your story, and how you navigate through becoming the person that you are today?
First, I just want to say thank you so much for having me here today. I love that intro. I feel like I really leveled up and made it to celebrity status with that introduction. So I love it. I love your, platform, the way that you have it set up. So I just want to acknowledge you in that. So a little bit about me as America's Supermom. As you have mentioned, I have 15 children, my husband and I. I physically had 13 of those 15, and then two of them are my stepchildren.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, a good place to start, I would say, was that I was raised as an only child. My mom was one of 12, and she really felt that education was a gateway to success. So, that was
Mhm.
something she really instilled in me growing up. So, I grew up as a overachiever, seeking that um, accolades for and awards for, honor roll, gifted classes, that type of thing. Because I felt that, when you got those awards, it was showing that you were doing things right, you were doing things
Mhm.
good. So, fast forward to getting married, meeting my husband in college, and having such a large family.
Mhm.
I remember growing up, my mom was a career woman, and
Mhm.
she had her own business. And so she was not really in a position to go on class field trips or, be that class mom. And that was something that really kind of tugged at my heart. So even though I was on the career path, once I had children, it was really hard for me to watch them grow up with other people. And
Mhm.
so my husband and I made the decision for me to stay home. However, that was a challenge because I was on this status and road of getting a good education, working a good career, having this house with the white picket fence, two kids, right?
Mhm.
The dream that most people have. And it wasn't lining up like that because staying home, I didn't have an example. All of my colleagues were career oriented. I grew up with them, and, we all went our separate ways. So they're working a career. I'm staying home, and I just didn't have an example of
Mhm.
who I can follow in that area. So it was a struggle for me. Um, so I went through a period of depression for
Mhm.
13 years.
Wow.
And I wasn't depressed where I was in the bed, underneath the covers. I was still going on field trips, PTA, doing things in the community, and then, here and there doing family businesses that my husband and I had.
Mhm.
And everybody on the outside didn't really see anything was wrong. And during that period of time, I was hospitalized 3 times because
Mhm.
the pressure just had become so great. And I really didn't even see the signs. So each
Mhm.
of the times that I was hospitalized, my husband sought intervention for me because I was just so busy people pleasing, checking
Mhm.
things off the box, going through this routine of making sure that I have everything in a row and, being this person outside my home and a different person at home,
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
a number of things just kind of escalated in that situation. And after my last hospitalization, I decided that, I really wanted to break free from this cycle.
Mhm.
So as I examined that cycle, I looked and stopped blaming my husband and kids and
Mhm.
realized that I'm the common denominator.
Mhm.
So I went into a period of self reflection, stopped watching the news and a lot of TV, got off social media for a while, and created my own strategy that helped me to overcome depression and maintain a life depression free. And so
Mhm.
that's really the basis of a lot of my coaching that I do with women in groups or individually. And that's really what got me to where I am today, really being an advocate for mental wellness, because I feel like it's something we really don't discuss. We
Mhm.
mention it, but nobody really knows what it looks like. And so it's hard to really have that awareness in your own life of different things that you could be doing to improve.
Mhm. Mhm. But I mean, I have a question because obviously, you started to have children. Was it a choice or is it something that you didn't actually think about? You just, let it go and then don't really think about the number of children that you wanted, and or is it just something that came just like that, or is it something that you plan, or how did you come up to have 15 kids? Because people are like, wow, 15 kids, especially now. She could have stopped before. Or so what is the background behind, having those 15 kids? Obviously 13 on your own.
Yes. So when we got married, we originally wanted 5 children.
Okay.
And we're very spirit led,
Mm-hmm.
so even the 5 for us was quite a stretch, right?
Mm-hmm.
And very humble beginnings in terms of starting out. We got married young, so it wasn't like we had this nest egg of
Mm-hmm.
financial situation. And just coming from a spiritual background,
Mm-hmm.
it really was a testament of faith, because
Mm-hmm.
each one of my children, 11 of them, I had
Mm-hmm.
natural, no pain medicine or anything.
Mm-hmm.
And the last 2, I had to have a C-section because I was over 40.
Mm-hmm.
So it
Mm-hmm.
would just really was a journey of, God really blessed each delivery. My husband has a military background,
Mm-hmm.
and he worked retail.
Mm-hmm.
So in the midst of all that, he was there for every birth, didn't miss one. And just so many things that just lined up. We feel it was God led. So that's really what
Mm-hmm.
got us to the number 15.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So my question now is, what is a day, in the Atkins family with, 15 kids? What does it look like? And how do you, you know, keep control? Because I don't even know. That's quite a group, to manage and to organize in the house.
Yes.
So it means 17 of you.
Yeah. Well, the good thing is right now we're down to 10. So we have 10 of them
Okay.
home. Yeah.
Okay.
8 of them are doing e-learning.
Mhm.
It's chaotic, as we mentioned before we got on camera. My son inadvertently unplugged the internet. So we were scrambling to get back on the internet. We had, 5 kids that were already in class and they
Mhm.
got kicked out of the system. So you have to expect the unexpected. I think,
Mhm.
you mentioned a good thing about how do you control it? Because
Mhm.
I think that's key. You have to know what in a day can you
Mhm.
control. And it's
Mhm.
really your behavior and your response. So
Mhm.
only what I do and how I respond is the only thing that I can control. And I'm always in a position of recognizing that anything can happen at any time.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, I just really have to stay in tune of what my values are, how I would like people talking to me, and remind myself of those things, because, something, inadvertently, as the internet getting kicked off,
Mhm.
I could
Mhm.
have
Mhm.
been, what's going on, but, just to remain calm and know that, with children, things happen,
Mhm.
so it's in a situation of recognizing that this is a temporary situation with them. Things are going to pass. I mean, seeing that 5 of the children are gone, it is an end to the time that they are at home. And so just kind of staying abreast of that helps me.
Mhm. 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 So do you have, I mean, what have been your key, challenges, if you look at it, if you look at motherhood, staying at home, taking up care of the kids, what have been the key challenges that you've struggled with, and the very difficult moment for you to be able to manage, your family? I think we lost LaChelle. Let's try to see if she can be back. In the meantime, what we're gonna do is have a short break, and we're gonna come back and with LaChelle when she's back. Okay, no problem. It's actually um, the result of a long journey in the oil and gas industry, working worldwide. And so I've been in this industry for 20 years. And like Deborah was saying, there's a big significance in the 20 years because I got in this industry because I lost my dad. And at some point I just had to stop going to school. I had my bachelor. I stopped because I had to find a job, and then I got into the industry. But I managed to discover the industry and really like it. So this book is really represent a lot for me. I dedicated it to my dad actually, and also really putting together all that I've learned working in the industry as well. So through this journey, what I really realized is that when you really want something, you have to go and get it. And going and get it doesn't mean just sit down, have the idea. It's also just put a plan, implement it. Really have to start going and inform the young generation that there are opportunities, and they should actually try to embrace some of those technical career in the oil and gas industry, and that's something that needs still to be done and strategized and start really at a very young age, because it's the industry is growing in Africa, so we will need the workforce, and it's So we are back. We are back with America Supermom, and we were just talking about how she's getting organized in at home with a large family. But one thing I wanted to really know is what are the key challenges that you have and you had to get to this point, and
Mhm.
how did you deal with them?
Yeah, so this is a great question. As I said earlier, many women, I believe, are challenged with this when it comes to working, managing home, family, feeling like life should be in balance. First, I want to say that there really never is a perfect balance to things. It's just a matter of knowing how to navigate through the ebbs and flows of life. So I think, there are a few things that I was really challenged with. And as I went on that journey of self discovery, I recognized that a lot of my worth I attached to the roles that I played.
Mm-hmm.
So if, my kids were doing good and they were making good grades, and I felt like I was validated and I was doing a good job as a mom, rather than really having anything adverse information coming forward. If it was something negative, then it affected me and how I felt about myself. And some of those things just happen with parenting. Kids are different type of learners. Not everybody
Mm-hmm.
is going to fit into the same mold. So that was one of the things that I struggled with, because I felt like, if something bad was going on to these things that were outside of my control, then
Mm-hmm.
it meant something was bad or wrong with me. So that was one thing. Another thing is recognizing what I valued in my definition of success or
Mm-hmm.
motherhood or something was. Being home, I would make 3 square meals a day. And I was just in this mindset of feeling like, well, if I'm at home, I should be cooking. If you're cooking, then you should be doing laundry. If you're doing laundry, then you should be making sure all the chores are done. And, if your kids call you, then you should be running up there, getting them whatever they need,
Mhm,
So
mhm,
I've never really took some time to recognize, what it is that a mother means to me.
mhm,
Do I have to cook 3 square meals? I mean, it really was a limiting belief for me for a long time. And, then one day I realized, you know what? Subway makes
mhm,
millions of dollars selling sandwiches and chips. Okay. So it's okay if you have some of those days. But, I really was caught in that a cycle of feeling like everything had to be just so. And then the last thing is during this whole process of, making this checklist of things that needed to be done, I really didn't remember who I was.
mhm,
You could ask me a simple question like, what's my favorite color? And it was like it was a standardized test or some kind of trick question because I
mhm,
never
mhm,
really took the time to reflect. I just didn't think, I was so busy being a robot, really, is what I would say,
mhm,
in terms of making sure that I was checking everything off the list. And, that was my source of seeing if I was successful, is if those things were done that were on that list of things to be done. And then, needless to say, that list always grew. There
mhm,
was always
mhm. Yeah,
something else
yeah.
to add on there. So
Mhm,
I think it's just not knowing who you are, the
mhm,
not knowing what something means to you, your own values, and then just being able to recognize that you are uh most important. You're enough by yourself. It doesn't matter what role or title that you
mhm.
play.
And I like that when you said, you are enough by yourself, because
Mhm.
sometimes, and it's not just you. I mean, us, a woman, we tend to take care of, pay attention to other people more than,
Mhm.
we forget ourselves, and we lose ourselves in the process. I mean, I remember. I mean, I have a friend. She, as soon as the kids, left the house, she was completely lost. It's like her life was finished because
Mhm.
she dedicated all her life to the kids, and
Mhm.
she was lost. She didn't have any repair anymore, and it was really a very difficult, period for her. And
Mhm.
it's important that we remind ourselves that we have to, take care of ourselves first, so that we can take better care of others, because otherwise it can be very difficult. So let's have a break and see, some of the struggle, one of the struggle that you had to go through, managing your household, and we'll be back after that.
Okay. Watch out, don't drop it.
I have 15 children, and Clutter seems to be our last name.
Hi everyone. So, I think I can work out what all of your names are. Okay, let me guess. There's Hope, Faith, Jordan, Josh, Jeremiah, Olivia, Elizabeth.
Brendan!
Here's what we're going to do. Every day for the next 31 days, everyone in America who wants to do this challenge will spend just 10 minutes organising one tiny piece of their house. Just one tiny piece of the house. Are you prepared to do this for the next month?
I think the laundry room is definitely the most challenging when it comes to clutter.
Now, what are these bags on the floor?
They're clothes, clean clothes. Clean clothes.
Clean clothes in trash bags. Why is that?
Because that way nobody steps on the clothes.
Okay. How about we take all of the laundry that needs to be folded out of here. I give you a 10-minute challenge, the first of the 31 days to get organised challenges. And while you're doing that, I work a little magic in your laundry room. How's that?
Okay.
In every house, there should be what I call an emergency kit. Stain remover, bleach pens, that kind of thing, for whenever there's a spill, or you can immediately grab your emergency kit and take it to the site of the emergency. You will no longer have stained clothes or other fabrics in your home. In every laundry I've ever been in, space is at a premium. I advise getting a little trolley like this that slides beautifully between your washer and dryer. It maximizes space. And look at this, you have 3 extra shelves for storing all of your laundry detergents and other products so they're close at hand. Give it a shot. Okay, so how are we doing? You finished? Okay, now there's one other thing that we can do while we're doing the sorting, and I want you to do this every day, and that is you have to dance while you're doing this. So come on down, I want to show you the laundry. Now, everything that doesn't live in the laundry is now in the garage. As soon as you fold things here, they now go immediately into these 5 bins. The other thing was, there are a lot of lost and found items. So straight away, we have a lost and found bin up here. More than just lost socks.
Right.
Do you think this would work better for you now?
Yes. I'm looking forward to this 31-day challenge because I'm hoping that I can have a place that's organized that I will be proud to open my door to.
You are the most incredible family. Loved you. Thank you very much.
So how is it going now? Everything tidy up, no more clutter.
I tell you, look, we've had, no, we haven't had any more children since that filming, but we've moved. So it's work in progress. I think that's one of the things is making sure that everybody is on the same page when it comes to organizing. And there's so many hidden things. You know, I love Peter Walsh because if anybody knows him, he used to do a show that really talked about people holding on to things for different reasons. So maybe it's something sentimental or, you know, a fear that, you know, if you get rid of this, it's going to change something. So it's obvious that every person in the household kind of has a different feeling for being able to get rid of stuff. You know, but for the most part, I think the key to staying organized is minimizing the number of things that you have to manage. You know, learning how to be simplified so that, you know, if I could go somewhere, usually when I travel and I have to fly, I take everything on carry-on. You know, it's just a backpack. You know, it's not having a lot of things, you know, that really prevent me from being spontaneous and things like that. So needless to say, we have still work to do in that area, but that was a great segue to kind of get everybody in the frame of mind of having some strategies for, you know, 10 minutes. We can get a lot done in 10 minutes if we have to. We know somebody's coming. It's like, hey, we can get it done.
That's amazing, but then it's good because there's so many of you. So if you know, each one of you just do a little bit, then you know, that's it, and it becomes really, you know, easy for everybody. So I mean, going through, you know, all those challenges that you've just talked about, you know, when did you have the trigger where you realize, you know, I've been giving all my time to my children, my husband, and I'm suffering now, and it's about time to think about me. When was this time, and why do you decide at this moment to shift?
Yeah, that was really when I got into coaching, which was after my last hospitalization. You know, fear was really what drove me at that point because I saw that I had been in a pattern of 3 hospitalizations and I didn't want to have a 4th one. And so going back to how I was raised as a kid, it was all about being self-managed and having, you know, success and working for what I wanted. And just this whole period where I was at was like, you know, it just wasn't representative, I feel, of who I was as a person. There was something just not in alignment. So it was at that time that I decided to really dive deeper and figure out, you know, what can I do to prevent this cycle from reoccurring and
Mhm.
really have that awareness to recognize that, there have been triggers. What are the patterns? What am I learning? How am I repeating the same process? So
Mhm.
it was in this time that I went through what I call the fresh start strategy. And it's
Mhm.
an acronym for 5 areas that I felt were very important in order to overcome that depression. And the first thing was the fear. So
Mhm.
instead of being fearful that, oh, this might happen again, and just being in a state of paralysis, I used that fear to figure out what are my triggers? How
Mhm.
can I move forward? How can I break this cycle and these patterns? The next one was reframing my story. I think this
Mhm.
was really important because most times when people kind of have this epiphany or aha about their past, they just really try to find a way to totally get away from it. It's like you see yourself in your past, but you want this new life.
Mhm.
And there's no way to kind of bridge the gap with that. It's like they're two separate things. And I use the analogy of, if you broke your arm
Mhm.
healed, but it just didn't seem like it was right. You wouldn't cut it off and say,
Mhm. Mhm.
I can't use this, because to me, your past has made you the person that you are today.
Mhm.
So you have to learn how to reframe it and take the lessons that you need to take from that past so that you
Mhm.
can move forward and be a better version of yourself. Then the next step was to envision your success. So for me, that required me to kind of get visual aids that could help
Mhm.
me. So I created vision boards and screenshotted them, put them on my phone as screensavers, because at this time, I realized that the life that I wanted, I was
Mhm.
not really representing that life in my daily routine.
Mhm.
My kids still saw me the way they used to. My husband did, a lot of family. So I had to focus on something that I wanted, even though it wasn't a representation of what I was seeing every day. So
Mhm.
that was the next step. And then the step after that is to find a support group and tribe.
Mhm.
So this is important because as you continue to grow, you are evolving and changing. It's good to
Mhm.
get with a support group that sees you and can continue to help you on that road. So this was pivotal because I was able to evolve and give my family the space they needed to evolve at a level that was comfortable for them.
Mhm.
And it helped me to not seek validation from them, like, oh, I've changed. And don't you see that I've changed?
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
didn't need them, validating everything I was doing. And it gave me the space to let them be their own selves without me saying, hey, we need to get this looking different or whatever.
Mhm.
It just really helped me be calm in that house. And then the last phase of that was healing. So this
Mhm.
was important because a lot of times I really kind of coined myself as living in a victim mindset
Mhm.
during that time of depression. And when I really got to the healing part of that, I was able to have compassion and understand that not only was I a victim, but so were my kids and my
Mhm.
husband. And everyone heals at a different pace. And
Mhm.
so I was able to have empathy and compassion, even still today. And I tell my children something that took me 46 years to learn, because I was 46 at the time this happened.
Mhm.
I can't expect them to do in a month, a year, or 2 years, or 3 years.
Mhm.
Who knows when that's going to be for them? But understanding the basic elements of it helps me to be more empathetic and have compassion for them to evolve at a pace that feels comfortable and good for them.
Mhm. Mhm. So, I mean, obviously, when you went through this process, your kids and your husband realized the change. So,
Mhm.
how was the dynamic? Did uh, when they realized that you needed time for yourself, you needed time to process, whatever you've gone through, and the fact that you had to dedicate time to them, and now you want to dedicate more time to yourself. Was it a smooth transition, or is it something that they struggled with?
Actually, it still is a struggle in transparency,
Mhm,
because I have really taken it down a notch.
mhm,
It used to be that, like I said, a lot of my worth and validation was attached to these things being done. So it's like,
mhm,
having all the elements of what everybody thinks um, a perfect home is supposed to look like.
mhm,
So it's everything being in order, no dishes in the sink, and dinner served at 6:30, and everybody sitting at the table, all these different things. And that's just really not our
mhm. Okay, we're struggling a little bit with the strugg- struggling a little bit with the connection again. Um, let's try. Hi.
Can you see me? Sorry about that.
Yeah, okay. So just go ahead. So you were talking about the transition, which is still very difficult for
Yes,
the
because I think, everybody realizes what it is. They remember the house always looking like, being in that type of tip top shape.
mm-hmm,
However, it was all, to me, I feel, at my expense.
mm-hmm,
Now we've always had chores for the kids and things like that, but, I come from a strong education background. So,
mm-hmm,
if they're like, Mom, I got a project or whatever, it's like, school comes before everything else. So what would
mm-hmm,
happen is, if they're working on a project, then it's like, okay, look, I'm going to go ahead and pick up the load for whatever you're supposed to be doing, because, school comes first. And so
mm-hmm,
the kids recognize that,
mm-hmm,
to some extent. So it's
mm-hmm,
like
mm-hmm,
me doing everything, so now I just have this mindset. There's certain things that I do, and I allow the kids to step up. So if
mm-hmm,
things are not the way that they should be, I have the idea that done is better than perfect. And so
mm-hmm,
it really took me a long time to get to that, because my husband worked a lot. So when he would come home, it was just that pressure of feeling like, everything has to be perfect. He's
mm-hmm,
gone. We want him to come home to this and that. And now I just have done a 180 on that, because I realized that, we have a lot of different people here that can contribute.
mm-hmm,
And it
mm-hmm,
shouldn't be one person doing everything. And
mm-hmm,
so, my kids, I remind them of that, and, they struggle with the one chore that they're given, So I
mm-hmm,
tell them, I'm like, "You're struggling with this one chore. Imagine mommy doing everybody's chore,
mm-hmm,
plus trying to have time for myself," so this really kind of hits home for them. So,
mm-hmm,
it's a work in progress. I have to kind of catch myself from, feeling like, I just, if they're not going to do it, I can do it, because
mm-hmm,
we've kind of had that mindset growing up with raising them, because,
mm-hmm,
I didn't have any siblings. We didn't have anybody close by. So if
mm-hmm,
my husband wasn't available to do whatever, then I felt like, well, he's not here, so it's my responsibility. And even
mm-hmm,
with that now, it's like, well, he's not here, well, he can wait. We can wait till
mm-hmm.
he gets here, on some things, It's like,
And
hey,
and that's a good mindset, because and we have this problem. I mean, I've been in different in different webinars and discussion about women working in male dominated environment, and
Mm-hmm.
they are struggling with that, because they feel like they're not perfect because they can't actually help at home, and then they've been judged in the office because the men, they don't have this responsibility. And
Mm-hmm.
but when they go home as a woman, you have you still have the responsibility of doing all the course, taking care of the children. But we don't have to do that. We don't have to
Right.
do that. We have to start to, share the responsibility, and we have to voice it, because that's
Yes.
the problem. If we don't voice
Mm-hmm.
it, it's just, established that the woman has to do everything. And
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to
Yeah.
be. And I think that's the education process that we have to to start with men, with the children as well, so that they
Mm-hmm.
understand mom is not here to do everything. Mom
So
also
true.
have a life. So that's fantastic. So
Yeah.
let's have just a short break, and we'll come back and continue this exciting conversation. So we are back. We are back with America's Supermom, and we are learning so much, especially on how the different strategies for us struggling with just few children. So we're getting the right strategies to be able to organize our home, and make sure that everybody has its responsibility at home. So now, I mean, with everything that you've done, what did you learn through the process? Because you've been you were a only child, and from the only child, a mom of 15. So what are the key things that you've learned in the process? I'm also kind of curious to know, how do you relate to each single child? I have two girls. They are so different. The energy that I have to spend is different. And I don't know, 15, how do you relate to them?
Yeah. So that's a good question. I
Mhm,
think to remember that they're all individuals. And
mhm,
so during that period when I did struggle with depression, I always had a corporate view.
mhm,
It was the view that what's best for everybody. What am I making, for dinner? How is it going to stretch the furthest, so that I could be concerned for the big picture. And it was in those moments that, there were times when I did forget about them as individuals, because I thought taking care of the group is important, and that's taking care of everybody. And
mhm,
so we do have traditions for their birthdays when they're 13, 16, and 18. Those are monumental times for us to focus on them really uh, accomplishing certain milestones. So it's special
mhm,
birthdays that we have with special parties and things of that nature. And then, a birthday is an individual time for a lot of
mhm,
them. We have a routine where we come together as a family and we do birthday wishes. So we go around the table with everybody present and, give them a personal message on their birthday. And my husband and I have tried in the past to take them out as on their birthday as an individual time that we get a chance to spend with them. Um, so I think that's always a work in progress. And just this past weekend, I had a situation where my daughter is a singer. And so she had a performance. And so
mhm,
it was supposed to be outside somewhere, but then they changed it to inside.
mhm,
And, with this virus, I'm not going anywhere, right?
mhm,
Because it's like, not places like that. Well,
mhm,
I didn't go, but I just had thought I had communicated with her that I was probably not going to go since it was inside, because I'd still have a number of kids that are at home. Well, my
mhm,
husband went, and she was just really upset that I didn't go. And, there was miscommunication. She said that she didn't know that I was not going, and I didn't call her before to wish her good luck. So, I think that whole thing of remembering that they are individuals is always very important to be mindful of, because, as you're worried about the corporate, they just want to be seen and have their own time. Another thing that I've learned is to be able to embrace who I am. So in addition to, being a stay-home mom, my husband is a pastor, and then he was an officer in the military. So each of these cases, it was some kind of leadership role that I played as a spouse. And I have learned to let go of the mask that I usually used to wear, because I felt like each different situation, there was a different mask that I wore. So I have learned to embrace fully who I am. And that's the whole premise of being America's Supermom, is to realize, hey, that is my brand. If we're in here, like we've been struggling with the internet, well, we do have 8 kids e-learning. So that's probably what it is. We got 8 people on the same network, so being able to embrace that has really been a game changer. I don't have to seek that validation from other people. I know what my values are, and I'm just able to really be authentically me. And I think that really is a game changer. That's one of the things that I've learned. And the thing with coaching is people have to have awareness. You can't fix somebody who doesn't think they have a problem, or they're not ready to do the work to change, because when it comes to being able to transform your mindset, overcome limiting beliefs, it is something that you really have to practice yourself. So I can be a guide and help somebody, but they have to be willing to do the work and have the awareness of what things they have done that's led them to where they are today.
And sometimes people just don't want to, they refuse to be aware. They just think that, things are just gonna settle by themselves. And because they don't want to do the work, or because they don't want to get hurt, because it's a process, that actually can be very painful, and they don't want to go through that. And so they prefer to wear the mask wherever it is, and then and at the end you still suffer, because you're not comfortable with this mask. You basically you can't breathe, basically.
Exactly.
So
It's so funny. I told somebody a couple weeks ago, I said, I was so glad to get rid of the mask, and now they're back. You got to wear them out in public, right?
so that's quite funny. And yeah, so that's fantastic. So how do you help the you have a structure now, so coaching structure, and obviously your program. So how does it work? How do you how do you help women, and tell us how people can actually connect and learn more about what you do?
Absolutely. So I do a lot of master classes, talking about certain topics that kind of keep us keep us from moving forward with a lot of limiting beliefs. So how to set boundaries, priority management. I say that instead of time management, because it's really just a matter of us recognizing what our priorities are, and setting aside time for that. So just various topics that really can affect how to have work-life balance, what things to look for with that. I do a lot of courses in that. I also have a podcast and a YouTube channel where I provide a lot of content for people to kind of hear other people's stories and see how they have overcome these things in the past. I coin myself as a lifestyle designer, and yes, that's a form of a coach where, I'm empowering people to have all the tools they need in order to move forward. It is a temporary stop on their road to being the best version of themselves. So, I'm not changing them. I'm just helping them to really key in to their own voice, because there's so many distractions, which I found in my own life, be it TV or radio or magazines or, your family, your coworkers, all these different outside entities that kind of get you confused about who you are, and you're comparing them, but you're not even comparing them to the right with the right mindset. You're comparing yourself to someone's highlight reel. So I say, if you're scrolling through Facebook, you might see a nice picture, but you don't know what went into that picture, how many times they deleted it because the lighting wasn't right, or they had the wrong expression, so when you compare yourself to that finished product, you don't know what went into it. And so, of course, it turned out that way after what, a half an hour of recaps, you know what I'm saying? So we need to be mindful of that. So getting back to you and your own voice is really what's really important. And during this time of the pandemic, I also created a Smile for Wellness movement, because in each of the times where I was hospitalized, I didn't really see the signs. So, SMILE is an acronym for the things that we need to be mindful of every day to check in with ourselves, so that, you don't have to go through depression or be hospitalized and things like that. So, those elements are your sleep, your mood, your inner voice, laughter, and energy. So when you really kind of key in on those areas, you'll find that, where am I with that? I was in a period of looking back and reflecting over those 13 years that there were times that I was only getting like 3 or 4 hours of sleep on a regular basis. I was in survival mode. So you factor in nursing, in the middle of the night, then, trying to get a good night's sleep, or someone waking up with a night terror, or whatever the case is, for an extended amount of time, I was only getting that much sleep, and that's sleep deprivation. So I encourage people to look that up and see what kind of things happen with that. You're not thinking clearly. You're not in the best mood. It can lead to weight gain and all these other things. And so as you go through each of those elements, you'll find that it's important that there be a balance in all those areas. And that can really kind of be a good starting point for you to make sure that you're in a good state of mental wellness.
So the SMILE is sleep, mood, inner voice, love, and
Energy.
energy. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
all right, that's the one I didn't get. So yeah, I love it. I love it. And you're right, there's so many dimensions that we have to be aware of. The sleep, I'm guilty, so I'm not gonna I'm not gonna tell anybody here. I'm
So
still
true.
working on that, so that's a key one. But
Right.
mood, inner voice, love, and energy, I think I'm doing quite well. So I need to fix the sleep, which is
Or you know
quite a
what,
problem.
even just taking a nap, something as simple as that. For me, I was like, during nap time for my kids, I was thinking, oh, I got to get these chores done, when it should have been just take a nap. You'll be a lot more energized and can get a lot more accomplished if you have had that nap. So just different things like that to consider.
All
Hmm.
right. So it's been an amazing discussion. Obviously, there's probably a lot more to learn from you, and but unfortunately, the time is running out. So, how do people get in contact with you? And anything happening? Do you have a program coming up, or any product that you feel like we should be aware of?
Yes, I can be found on pretty much every social media platform. You can look for me as America's Supermom or LaChelle Adkins. In November, I will be having a couple of books come out. I'm doing some book releases. So that's pretty much all that I have going on right now. And then I do have fresh start master classes that
Mm-hmm.
I offer monthly. So there's only so many spots that I do per month. And so am enrolling people in those classes now. It's a 6 week session where we dive into each of the elements of the fresh start to kind of help people get a jump start on
Mm-hmm.
finding out what areas they really need to work on and how they can kind of get a good foundation in order to start moving forward on the path that they want to be on.
Okay, fantastic. So,
Hmm.
I mean, on my side, there's a few things that I really wanted you to be aware of.
Hmm.
There's the book coming out. There's the Blueprint from Heaven, which, 20 co-author, which is led by uh, Coach Rose, so Rosalind Wallace, and her husband. So, a very, very good book coming out. I'm actually writing about Abraham. That's my leadership that I've decided to write about. So it's coming out on the 24th of October, and I think that's all. We also have we're gonna have a lot of, we it's the domestic violence month, so I will be having some guests, special guests, to address to talk about domestic violence and to address the issue. There's a conference that I'm going to be part of on the 24th as well, led by Ritu Chopra. She's based in the US. She's been herself, she's a survivor of domestic violence. So we're gonna give a voice, and hopefully you can also join us. So that's all for today. But before we leave, America Supermom, what is your last word to the audience, and the key message that you want to leave us with?
That would be for us to really know our own inner voice.
Mm-hmm.
Think about, where you see yourself going. You may not have all the answers, you may not know how to get to where you want to go, but being in a place to where you have the comfort to ask for help. That was something I struggled with. So coming from a high achievement background, I thought if I didn't know something, that it was a sign of weakness. And even though we're told that no question is a dumb question in school, but
Mm-hmm.
we kind of grow up with this mindset of thinking that, well, I'm a mom. I'm supposed to know how to be a mother or how to
Mm-hmm.
juggle, all the responsibilities. And, don't put yourself in that box. Always be curious, always be willing to learn and ask questions and just get a different perspective. Because as
Mm-hmm.
you do that, you'll be pliable and you can adjust to change a lot easier. I just never would have imagined being a mother during a global pandemic. And not only am I surviving, but I'm also thriving. I've been a part of several summits,
Mm-hmm.
book deals, and different speaking opportunities, all because I'm in a state of mind of always being willing to collaborate, to evolve, and ask the right questions to the right people in order to move forward. So continue to be you, ask those questions, and collaborate.
Fantastic. So continue
Mhm.
to be you, ask question, and collaborate. And I think the
Mhm.
collaboration part is very important, especially
Mhm.
as we struggle with the pandemic. There are people who need help, and they should
Mhm.
reach out and ask for, collaborate, partner with people either on the personal level where they need, the support, mental support, or, any support, or on the business side where you can join forces to be able to help each other instead of maybe losing your business or anything. So, and don't forget, to always try and become the best version of yourself, because
Mhm.
that's what it's all about here. It's
Mhm.
not about competing with anybody. It's not about, being a victim. It's about knowing that, it starts with you. You have greatness inside of you. You have the power. So step into your power, step into your greatness,
Mhm.
and, make sure you become the best version of yourself. And like you said, know your inner voice, and be you,
Mhm.
and contribute to whatever, is important for humanity. So thank you so much. Thank you
Oh.
so much,
I just want to say
LaChelle.
thank you. Thank you for having me. And I just love your platform. I love what you're doing. You are teaching me a lot about, leveling up. I just, like I said, I feel like I'm a celebrity on here.
But you are a celebrity. You are America's supermom. Can't you imagine? So that's a celebrity status,
Okay.
and it's been amazing to have you, and really, have a great day, and continue to empower, women around the world, or around the US as well,
Mhm.
and make sure that, they become the best version of themselves, learning from you and being inspired by you, because we've been inspired today. I've been inspired,
Oh.
and I hope that, anybody who's listening, and the people who are going to watch the replay are also going to be inspired. So
Mhm.
thank you so much. Thank you for all that, all the people that tuning in, and
Mhm.
don't hesitate to reach out if you want to know a little bit more about America Supermom.
Mhm.
So she is available on every single platform,
Mhm.
social media. And if you can't find her, I know that you can find me, and I will connect you with her, without any problem. So thank you very much, and I'll see you all on Friday. On Friday, I'm gonna have a gentleman from Australia, so we're staying home on Friday. So take care. Thank you,
Oh, you're
America
welcome.
Supermom, and have a great day. And may you all be blessed today. So
All
take
right.
care.
All
Bye.
right. Bye, everybody.